Do you know that self-doubt isn't a feeling? Self-doubt is a mental process that we loop inside our mind constantly due to many different layers of what we call conditionings. Conditionings, you think of it like an onion. Different layers of conditionings are different layers of onions that we actually built, like perceptions that we built along the way in our life experiences, especially since young. I was having a lot of self-doubt issue when I grew up. My family was, my mom and my dad, they were actually art tutor. So since young, I followed them to the office and I will draw whatever I like, and then I always pass it to my parents. I remember one time at the age of 4, I started learning about watercolor, and at the age of 4 I was filling out this I remember it was a picture of a fox, and I was putting on different colors into this painting. I was so proud that I wanted to present it to my dad, and then my dad started taking his role as a art tutor, started changing the different color, telling me, this is not good, you should do this, you should do that to improve your color, to improve the overall painting. I didn't know that event itself impacted me so greatly until way later. What happened was that for him, as my dad, as my teacher, as my art tutor, he is just being kind. He is just wanting me to improve how I paint. But as that 4 years old boy, I believe in impressing or wanting to express to my dad that, hey, I'm so proud that I can do this at 4 years old. But then what I received unconsciously from my dad was that I perceive it as criticism. So from that day onward, I feel like every single thing that I do, I require him, whether it's my dad or my mom, to give me the feedback for me to improve. In a way, it's validating a mindset, a process of my mind inside me that whatever I do is not perfect and you need someone else to correct you. So that was my worldview since 4 years old. So what happened next is that I have been unconscious about it, and I built that kind of habit from 4 years old to 5 years old. I started getting validating from people who are more senior in the school, from teachers who are good in different subjects. And then until I enter society, I started getting validations, confirmation from my superior, from my boss, and all that started from that age of 4. And that was just one incident. Imagine we have so many different possible incidents that can happen in our society, in our brought up process, that we are living in such a world that most people tell us, in a way telling us, we are not good enough. You look around, it's almost in every corner, there's always some room for improvement. There's always something else that you can do better. Hardly we bump into someone who tells you that, hey, you're magnificent enough to just exist in this world. I'm not saying that they are a bad person. It was just how society being conditioned. It was like it's still it's a normal social conditioning that we are facing in everyday life right now. And that itself is like forming different layers of conditionings, like layerings of onions around us. And that creates self-doubt because of all that layers of conditionings. So first thing that I feel is important for us to realize is that those are perceptions that we built along the way. Those are only perceptions. It shouldn't define us. We are not those perceptions unless we choose to. But now if you are aware that we are all that layers of perceptions around us, what we need to do is to unpeel them. letting them go one by one so that we can actually discover the magnificence of us, so that we can one day waking up no longer need to actually have that self-criticism for ourselves, self-doubt that is looping inside our mind, constantly looking for validation, constantly looking for approval, constantly looking for confirmation from someone else. And that is like one of the most common theme that I'm seeing even among my clients as well. For the past 20 years of dealing with people with self-doubt issues, low self-esteem issues, it is very common across all nations and all cultures. So I feel that one of the most important things, after realizing that those conditioning doesn't define us, the next time if you bump into a situations that have these triggering thoughts that come out and you start questioning, am I not good enough? Am I doing this correctly? I feel what we need to do is just to pause for a while. Take a deep breath in, release that doubt, release that. Every single time we do it consciously, we're letting go that one layers of doubt through our power of our intentions, letting that go through our breath. We will create, that intention will create a biological chemical reaction inside the body and changes how our hormone functions, how our body emits different type of hormones to trigger more of self-doubt. Now with that released, we will let that chemical change as well inside the body. And after we do that, we reaffirm the magnificence of who we are and knowing that I am enough. It's important, even the whole world tells you that you're not good enough, you have to do that for yourself, because nobody can do that for you, okay? It's rare to have someone that you love or even true friends that can support you. If you have those people, love them, because they are rare diamonds that you can hardly find nowadays. When you have meet with those people, appreciate them, because that is a good environment that you can grow and become more of yourself. But if you do not have those environments, it's important to create your own inner environment, really affirming that I am enough. And take a deep breath in, breathing that magnificent, realizing that magnificent, going to the core of the diamond that covered by those layers of onions around it. And by doing that, every single time that you bumped into any situation that's triggered these self-worth issues, there will come a time that you will be able to unlearn all this and peel off all these layers, because it is the same process that you build up these layers. We can reverse the process as well. That's the good news, isn't it? One day, once you remove all the layers, you will come to a point that you sit in a space that you will feel that you are just enough. And that will be the day that you will have a lot more peace within you. And from that space, you will have a lot more clarity on different things, on how to even improve yourself or master yourself differently and lead a different type of team from a very space of peace and clarity. And that's what I firmly believe in. So lead from peace and build with purpose.